3. Hey, what's up, man? It's Gene. And introduce yourselves.
Hey, Mike.
What's up, stoners? It's Rick.
What's up, stoners? So, hey, I'm here in Oregon, Portland, Oregon, at my friend Mike's house. Rick's a roommate. We're just like we're 2 old Army guys. He's a
Young Army vet.
He's a young Army vet. He's only 37. And we kind of got up and started talking about some stuff. And I said, hey, let's make a video. So we're going to make a video. And first, though, we're going to talk about the fact that weed is legal in Oregon.
That doesn't mean come here. That means enjoy it at home. So stay in your states.
Yep.
So we were talking about what were we talking about? Kind of the quality of weed nationwide, what's legal and not legal, and about like how it sucks. You get dirt weed in Iowa and go to jail, but here you get primo shit. Like, you know, it goes towards education or something.
It goes towards our educations, our roads. Like the whole idea of having the fact that we have weed at our fingertips, literally at such an easy manner. Like, I just walk down the street and I can go to the dispensary, get
the weed store is 2 blocks. Excuse me, the cannabis dispensary is 2 blocks from here.
Not even 2 blocks. Not city blocks, man.
Not a city block. It's like a block and a half. Like
there
a block. And then that's only 1 out of like 3 in the neighborhood. There's one right down the street. There's another one up the street. That's like what, 3 blocks? From here to 82nd Pal?
To Puddletown? No, not even.
Maybe, well, I know it's like 2 blocks, for sure. And then we have another one on 82nd and Division.
So how long has it been legal here?
Plus you got the one up here, the Dime store.
Oh, yeah.
Which is...
So there's like 4 within walking distance here.
Is that coffee cannabis place up the street? I didn't get a picture of it, but is that a dispensary? Is it that way? It was that way.
Yeah,
it's that way.
If it's TJ's?
TJ's.
Yeah, it's at the house. It says something about coffee and cannabis on the corner.
You go in there, you buy some weed, you can get your coffee in the morning. It's kind of a nice deal.
But you can't smoke in there, right?
No.
So it's not like a coffee house like in Amsterdam.
Not yet.
No.
Not yet.
But we do have clubs here that you get a membership and you can go in and smoke. They provide the utensils that you need. You just have to bring your own flower or your own dabs.
Cool.
There are, like, it's such the culture here for stoners is such open. You can divulge in it. And if you're new to it, the bud tenders or whoever you're talking with who smokes, they can actually lead you through it and tell you everything you need to know about it. If you go into the dispensaries here and you say, hey, it's my first time, I want something that's going to be mellow, they'll lead you right down the way that you need to go. It's actually really nice being a combat vet and coming back, and before it was legalized, having to do it on the black market, it was really sketchy.
Right.
But now being able to go in and talk to them, it's like going in and talking to a doctor without having to talk to a doctor. You know, they know everything they need to know about the flower, and what it's going to do to you, how it's going to make you feel, what kind of mood it's going to put you in.
Yeah, that's
right.
And I mean,
are you an indica guy or a sativa guy? I'm an indica guy. I want to be stoned, not high. I don't want to clean the house. I want to like lay on the sofa and look at it messed up.
It actually depends on my mood, really.
Yeah.
And depends on how much sleep I get. So if I get a good 5 hours, I'm definitely going to go with more of my sativa. But if I get a good 8 hours, I'm going with my indica.
Yeah, I slept so much last night. I could do sativa today for sure. I think I slept like 22 hours last night.
Yeah,
I was tired.
I'm lucky if I get 22 hours. I think I got maybe 5.5 today. So, but
I don't even know what time I went to bed last night. I was in pretty good shape.
You guys, you guys were gone before the sun went down. Because I laid down and thought, I'm going to like, people going to be wandering around, probably end up with like a mustache painted. Oh, I have one. But you know what I'm saying, man. Like, they're going to prank me. But it didn't happen because all y'all had passed out.
Oh, no. I didn't pass out. I was downstairs working on my 3D printer.
Oh, you got a 3D printer? What kind of stuff you printing?
I'm trying to get it to print. it's not taking so well. I gotta figure out the cure time and stuff. But I'm trying to print. I'm working on a diorama for my girlfriend. She loves pigs, so I'm building a pig farm out of styrofoam and stuff like that. So, yeah.
So we were outside. Y'all were having a smoke break. I quit cigarettes 7 years ago last week, and I'm still cigarette free, not smoke free. Oh hell no. It's Portland.
Yeah, Portland.
Oregon is legal. So is Massachusetts, but their prices were ridiculous. I gotta say, $68 including tax for 3.5 grams, even if it's good, is a ridiculous. What would 3.5 grams go for an eighth here? Average.
Well, let me put it this way.
Average. If you just said, you know,
I can go up to TJ's right now and get 14 grams for 45.
Get the fuck out!
So I could probably get an eighth at $20, $15.
Oh my god!
Grams go here from $5 to $6 a gram, depending on where you go.
I mean, 20,
I'm moving to Oregon, people. I'm not leaving.
20 bucks will get you know, even on the freaking budget shelf.
Yep.
$20 will get you a fucking what? Get you a quarter.
We going to the weed store today, man.
Yeah.
Later on
That's the budget stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm poor. That's where
I drove all the way through Washington and waited just to get to Oregon because I read up on this stuff and I know Oregon's got the pot glut. There's so much grew and the price is down. I think Massachusetts is high. I hear Illinois is higher priced.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of ridiculous, you know, like if we really wanted to make an impact on the culture of weed or on the culture of the United States, it's definitely going to come when we federally legalize marijuana here, because once we are able to export it, people are not going to want to have their weed that they have at home.
Right.
They're going to realize, holy shit, I've been smoking dirt shit for however many years, and now I get this shit that's coming from Oregon, California, Washington, and it's fucking green and crystally.
Speaking of culture, like we were talking about this outside, does anyone in Portland watch Portlandia?
No! That is no. No. Portland is not like Portlandia. If you think Portland is like Portlandia,
you don't
stop.
go out here.
So what is Portland like? I haven't been anywhere. You know, we went to the liquor store yesterday. We went by where you work, you know, at your supermarket you work at, and everybody knows Mike, at least at the liquor store and his supermarket. That I know. But no, we went to the shopping center where it's at. It's kind of a, you know, a typical kind of American shopping center. Got your big store and your anchor store and then your little shops. And we're walking and it was, hey Mike, what's up? And he's like, hey, this is my friend Gene from the Army. He's like, hey Mike. He's like, one thing I noticed about this neighborhood where he's at, people know each other. It's like a real neighborhood. It's like we were out front yesterday playing some music in the yard in between rain showers. And people are coming by and there's like, is that a Latina woman lives behind you?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right behind you.
Yes, and I saw a Native American woman walk by, and there was this really nice lady who was in a motorized wheelchair, and she came by, I think, to get like a lilac or some kind of flower, big ass like tulip or something.
She comes by almost every day.
Yeah, she got like one of
And
Rebecca's tulips.
she's up at the store every day, and that's just how.
Yeah. There's I know there's we're going to talk about gentrification here in a minute because this is something Mike likes to talk about with me on the phone. But this neighborhood right here, it seems like a pretty cool neighborhood. There's tweakers. You got tweakers, right?
Oh, we got tweakers, we got crackheads, we got heroin addicts.
First thing I take my bike off the rack so it's in the house. You know?
Yeah. First thing when he pulls up, I'm like, you are not leaving this here.
Yeah. It's like a really great neighborhood if it wasn't for the tweakers and the heroin addicts and the crackheads.
Yeah.
Is kind of what they're saying. But it's not that bad. But of course, I lived in the Tenderloin in San Francisco. My next door neighbor, I lived in an SRO there. You know, my next door neighbor, you always knew when he was home because there's a little crack under the door to the room. And the crack fumes would be so strong in the hallway. If you stood there for a minute, you'd probably get high. And then I think he had a girlfriend. And I could hear him through the wall. My bed was up against that wall. And I'll be honest, they either fucking or fighting. I don't mean violently fighting, arguing. Yeah, maybe both. And there was one night when I was in San Francisco back in the 90s, I like getting stories about people because I was writing and doing stuff. And there was one night, I guess I was kind of buzzed, and I decided I could smell the crack, you know. So I said, he's home. And I don't hear him fucking or fighting, so I guess he's alone. And so I'd been there a few months, you know, living next to him. So I thought about knocking on the door because I just wanted to meet him, you know. Say, hey, I'm your neighbor. But then, thank God, man, I thought better of it because you just don't do that kind of shit. You don't do that shit.
No, not with crackheads.
Nah, no,
No,
yeah, it worked out.
No,
And if you moved into an
From
apartment,
having been one, no, don't do that.
right?
Yeah.
That's like,
That's
I'm
another-
hoping to go to
Ow, ow,
San
ow.
Francisco, and I'm going to go down to my old neighborhood in the Tenderloin. We'll see how it's changed some, but that's for another time. But what were we talking about? Oh, yeah, Portland. What is it like to live in Portland?
It's fantastic. The culture here is amazing. We have such a diverse populace here. It's nice. If you've never been around Asians, African Americans, Muslims, any kind of culture, we have it here. And I think Oregon's probably one of the more open-minded, less bigotry states.
I hear Eastern Oregon's pretty kind of redneck.
They are. We do have our rednecks here, but
Yeah.
I'm not talking about East Oregon. I'm talking about Portland.
Portland,
Portland
where
is
it's legal.
well,
It's legal in Eastern Oregon. So how come they're so uptight over there, man? All Republican, they got weed.
They don't smoke enough.
Y'all people in Eastern Oregon need to be light up, dude. Light up and lighten up. There we go. That should be a motto. Light up and light. It'd be like what was it? Turn on, tune in, drop out. What Leary said.
yep.
Yeah, light up and lighten up.
Smoke it.
Me and Turk, we don't know nothing about Timothy Leary from when we were back in the Army.
Nah.
I don't know who that is, so
Nah.
Yeah.
that shows my age.
Soldiers don't ever do bad things or maybe enlightening things for that matter.
I was going to say bad things. I just
Yeah, I don't think it
bad
was bad.
things.
I think it was more enlightening, but
No, it was because, well, I ended up, you're the one who got me on it in the first
Can
place.
you do your Dark Side of the Moon laugh for the world? So, gentrification, Michael, this is your moment to shine. Tell me all that junk you
That's
tell me on the
empty,
phone
so
late at night. It's actually not junk, huh?
I said that's empty.
I know. We have it. I don't think that we don't have any here right now.
Oh,
shit.
just
We're fixing that.
where?
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you just left a little in the tray. I got up at 5 a.m. and it was light out. It's like it's light earlier and stays dark later at more northern latitudes. So Florida, we're down. I mean, we're not exactly the equator, but
Right.
we're like it gets dark now there around maybe 9, and it's like I noticed up here,
Oh,
like
yeah.
in South Dakota, it's like 9.
Oh, dude.
I don't think it really got dark till after 9:30 when I was
Yeah.
in Wyoming, in Yellowstone.
Here, it won't get on the longest day of the year. Here, it won't get dark until 10:30, 11 at night.
Yeah,
And it's fucking. It's like one of those.
and I was at 5 in the morning, man. It was broad daylight when I woke up.
Yeah, and it'll go. And the funny thing is, like, it comes up really early that day at like 4:30 ish, and then it's up until like 11 o'clock at night. And it's probably one of the most trippiest days in Oregon here. It's definitely one of those places that you want to visit. We have so many.
I almost moved here in 1989.
You
I've
should
been
have.
told that's before like it got discovered, so it
Yeah.
actually really was cool.
Yeah.
Or something
Okay,
like
so
that.
as a teenager growing up here,
So you grew up here? You're from here?
I'm born and raised native. That's why I told nobody to move here.
Dude, we have a native Portlandier. Is it Portlandier?
Portlandia. Yeah.
Portlandier. Is that too close to the show?
Yeah.
That's a bad name. What
We
would a
call ourselves Oregonians.
Oregonians, but if you're from Portland, do you have a special...
I don't think so, actually.
Okay, so we have a native
Oregonian.
Oregonian from Portland.
Yeah.
So many people have moved to Portland. It's amazing that I come here and there you go. Someone who actually... it's kind of like Florida. It's hard to find a native
Yeah,
Floridian.
it is. It's a lot of us Oregonians, we get pushed out. Like, I've been here all my life, except for when I was in the military or when I would travel as a kid with my mom down in Mexico. But growing up here, like, we drive up the street that we're off of, Powell. If we would drive up,
Is that where Pal's Books is at? Is it on Pal?
Is on, no, there's a couple of them. There's
Oh,
one
okay.
downtown. There's one up here. They're all over the place.
Oh, okay.
But so Powell is one of our major roads going up towards Gresham, and as a kid, there used to be a whole stretch where the telephone towers are at. Well, as a kid, it was nothing but farm. Man, it's like there was horses back there. You could watch the horses graze.
Oh, that's cool. I'm from horse country in Florida. We got a lot of the, like around the Kentucky Derby and stuff like that they have there.
And now if you drive up that way, it's all, from the time that I was a kid, it's all apartments. So I was able to watch the from the deforestation, the removal of animals in city limits to the building.
Animals being like chickens. Can you have chickens in your backyard in Portland?
You
can? Oh, okay.
I'm talking more like
cows,
horses, like.
So you can't ride your horse to the post office in Portland.
Well, you still can actually.
You can't. You couldn't have a stable in Portland.
Well, the property, you need a lot of property.
Well, yeah, you'd have to have a. I guess that's paddock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a cold one? Good, because I have a warm one from last night that's been sitting out here the whole time. I almost had it at 5 a.m. So I'm glad to know, Turk, that we still have our standards for mornings after partying, like in the Army, which involves warm, cheap beer.
Mm-hmm.
Were you still around when I can't think of his last name. His name was Greg, though. I kind of got to know him maybe after you shipped out, but he used to always tell me about beer and donuts. It was a great breakfast, and I thought it was gross. No. He was right. He was right. He finally one day we had I think it was our unit field day, you know, the annual company picnic, right? Yeah. We're out someplace.
Mandatory fun.
Yeah, mandatory fun. And we had been out like having some non-mandatory excellence, man. The Springs. Hey, and and the thing was off post. It was actually some park or something.
Hey, remember, you never can take away from the standard, but you can add to it.
Exactly. And we got there, and I think it was Greg and me and Rob the Musclehead from Chicago, the dude that was all into watching The Song Remains the Same. Do you remember him? He used to wreck a lot of cars. He'd get these big-ass Bluesmobiles and wreck them all the time. Like, you never wanted to ride. We actually rode with him.
That sounds like Brozac.
Was it Brozac, maybe? Was he in I don't know.
No, that's...
Anyways, we get there, and that day he had brought beer and donuts, and we were hungover, man. It was bad. But what I found out is you get the regular cake donuts, like the plain donuts, right? Yep. And then Moosehead beer. It has to be Moosehead. It has a certain sweetness. It has to be Moosehead beer. Moosehead beer and plain cake donuts, actually.
So you're basically taking a beer, you're taking a sweet wine and a sweet thing and making it beer and sweet.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I guess, Zinfandel and pastries or something. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean...
Yeah, Moosehead and plain cake donuts. It's... I've had it that one time. It's the only time I ever had it, but it was really good.
You're making me think about fucking something that when I first got here, somebody
Voodoo
Donuts.
Donuts.
Yeah, dude, Voodoo Donuts.
Voodoo Donuts.
Oh,
that would be an interesting experiment because you can get Voodoo. You can get the Voodoo. Was it Voodoo Ranger IPA? From New Belgium Brewery in Fort Collins. So we got Voodoo beer.
Got right up there at the store.
And we got Voodoo Donuts, right? So we could try Voodoo beer and donuts.
You really could, actually.
I don't know how it would work with an IPA compared, because Moosehead is definitely not an IPA.
Actually, Moosehead is an IPA.
Is it?
It's a lager.
But a lager and IPA, yeah, the lagers and IPAs are different.
Yeah, they are.
Right. Like
and this is what we love about Portland.
Yeah. Beer. This is the beer capital of the world.
And this is the home of
microbrews.
This is the home of the best microbrews in the world, and we're having warm cans of Pabst for breakfast.
Hey,
no,
this is
as
far as I'm concerned, this is the beer snob capital of the world as well.
Well, I believe
that's something I kind of love and laugh at about the Pacific Northwest.
I tell people, man, like I've been drinking IPAs all the way across the country, here and there, trying one out. This shirt is from 10 Sleep Brewery in 10 Sleep, Wyoming, by the 10 Sleep Creek. It's all about 10 Sleep. I don't know what it means, but yeah, I got this. Y'all saw it back there, but yeah, you got to be honest about your beer though. It's like I like to have good beer, but when I lived out west when I was younger. I worked with a guy, and he lived on a school bus, and he said that we'd go out and have some good beers, man, like out at the bar sometimes after work. But if you went to his place, it was Schaefer's. He liked Schaefer's. And he said, like, at home, I drink cheap beer. If I go out, then I get a good beer.
More than one.
Here we have Blue Moon. Have you got a fruit to go with it? Isn't this like a fruity beer? Somebody's supposed to put like an orange when they serve it or something?
No.
Yeah?
I mean, they do put oranges in it. I don't put fruit in it.
Load that. Is there something in it?
Oh, you guys can have it. I don't really drink.
Oh, okay.
I used to be a full-blown alcoholic, so I try not to drink very much.
That's cool. Yeah, I don't drink too much myself. I think I had maybe 3 beers yesterday. I had a couple of sips of rum, but it was through the whole day.
So this has been in my own personal fridge for about a month now. So it is excellently cold. It might be a little frozen, actually. So it is definitely one of those. You could probably tap it and get an instant freeze.
So like,
they love their beer out here.
We're all just right. It's like we don't know what to talk about. We're just like waiting for the bowl to load.
Definitely need the green.
But as far as I'm concerned, they're also the land of beer snobs.
We are definitely beer snobs here. We have like 20 different breweries here. Hell, we got one downtown that you can go to and book the underground tour of the Shanghai Tunnel here in Portland.
Shanghai Tunnel, what's that?
Oh, so back in the when Oregon used to be a little logger town, and it was a
mean logger like L-O-G, like trees?
Trees, yep.
Right.
And it was a port city.
Not beer.
We're a port city now still, but it's when we were just really small. So all downtown Portland is riddled with underground tunnels, where if you were a tourist or coming off the ship and you go into a bar, they drug you and they drop you down into these tunnels.
Oh, like getting Shanghai to go to the ship.
That's why they're Shanghai tunnels. There's also opium dens down there.
Wow.
Old opium dens that aren't in use. So it definitely shows our Asian culture and how long it's really been inside.
I know in Seattle it's supposed to be like, I'm from down in the South, and of course we got, the Gideon Bible, and they're really kind of nationwide. But I have heard, like, if you're in Seattle, and so I guess maybe Portland, if you go to, say, you're at a hotel, you're likely to find a copy of the Dhammapada instead of I read this somewhere.
Yeah.
That the hotels, instead of having the Bible, they have like I think it's the Dhammapada, but Buddhist text.
Yeah. There are some, but another thing
or
about
both.
Yeah. The other thing about Portland is that the reason why it's kind of shocking that we have such a diverse culture here is that Oregon used to be one of the bigger KKK supporters.
Yeah, it used to. Yeah, well, and Michael, let's talk about the history of Oregon.
I mean,
how did Oregon begin? What was that rule?
It was a free state, but they wanted it to the point.
They wanted it all whites.
We're talking about back in the Oregon Trail, and the settlers coming out.
It became a state. When was it? 1859.
That sounds. I think so. That sounds. I was all through this trip, I've been saying I'm a history major, and I did make good grades, but I can't remember shit. So if anyone out there knows,
1859, they become a free state.
Yeah.
But it was basically set up as a white people's utopia.
Yep.
I mean, figure coming into the place in the first place, what did they do to the natives?
Push them all out.
Get out.
Isn't there like a east of here along the Columbia?
There are several reservations.
And that's I really don't know Northwest very well.
So we go up towards Tacoma. You have one reservation.
And that's up in Washington.
Yeah.
Right.
We have one down towards, I want to say out in eastern Oregon. And I think we have one down towards California.
Yeah, I went past Pine Ridge in South Dakota. I didn't go. I wouldn't go there. You know what I mean? I just feel like even I'll just be honest, man. Me, a white guy, I had it in a video. I said, I didn't participate in the Wounded Knee Massacre. But you know what? Some guy, like when I was a Spec 4 in the Army, E4, well, that would be like a corporal, in the old cavalry days there back on the plains. So some corporal was overseeing, the women and children, which is horrible things. So I was like, no, I can't. I just didn't want to. And then with the whole COVID thing, COVID is hitting hard on reservations.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's sickening, actually.
In fact, everything in South Dakota, I think Pine Ridge is one of them, where the governor's all pissed off because she's conservative, and the tribal police just like shut. They got a checkpoint there, and it's like, hey, sorry, if you aren't from If you aren't
You
from
ain't
Pine
from
Ridge,
here,
you
you ain't
know,
coming in.
You ain't
yeah, if you aren't from
here, you're not coming
Rosebud, which is the next one over, wherever, you ain't coming in here. And she's like,
I
no, you
think-
can't do that. I don't know
It's
how it
like,
turned out, but
Well, look
you know.
at Seattle right now. They have that 6-8 block autonomous zone going on.
Chaz.
I was
oh, I posted a thing on Facebook about
yeah.
that.
Well, I was
Some woman lives by it and basically said Fox News is full of shit.
yeah.
Because she said, here's what's really going on, and it wasn't so bad.
No, actually, I just read a paper that was written about showing, actually, it wasn't by Fox, I can't remember who it was, but they were showing pictures of people outside drawing chalk, sending messages of
Right,
love.
yeah, big Black Lives Matter
yeah.
on the street.
They've said that since there's been no police activity, the culture and the economics in that little area has risen up. Like,
right.
there's not very much, there's not problems. They're policing each other up.
What's been happening here in Portland downtown?
Right.
I know. I remember yesterday it was saying like who was it? Rebecca was saying, "Hey, what's going down there right now?" And you were like, "Yeah, dude." You know,
It's ridiculous. I understand their anger, but there's a better way to do it.
so so there's been this whole debate. It's like it's like, oh, it's all peaceful protest, but on this small element doing this, doing that. I mean, how do you see it? And I think you have a definite voice here. I think we each have a definite voice here. You have a definite voice here because you're actually a native person from Portland. And Mike, in this time especially, what with shit going down, I'm just being honest, man. As a black man in America, I think you have a definite voice, and I have a definite voice because it's my damn phone recording this. Other than that, I can just shut the hell up. But
well,
so a little more though.
Okay, well, when you have people who are constantly causing problems, when you have your peaceful protesters who are doing it right, they don't want violence, they don't want the brutality, but then you get these people who incent it, who basically attack or destroy things, and the police react. They're trained to react. It's just like soldiers. When we're in a situation, we don't stop. We react.
Right.
We rely on doctrine and training, and
I was at Camp Lejeune
It's
in
a
October.
reflex.
It is.
I had an interesting trip last October. I got invited up to North Carolina to actually go to Reverend William Barber. I don't know if you know the Poor People's Movement.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Reverend Barber is kind of, I don't want to say he's large and in charge. You know, he's not the boss because he's not that way. It's shared leadership. In fact, Reverend Liz Theo Harris, and I went to school together for a little while in New York, and she's kind of his, they're partners. You know what I mean? So, but anyways, I was in his church, and I'm going to get this wrong. It's not Greens, but Goldsboro. There's these Greens and Golds towns all through.
Yeah.
Goldsboro, I think it is. Yes, but I was at the church for a few days with some other folks, Shane Claiborne, and a lot of different Christian, I hate to use that word sometimes, but, believer activists, and something called a Red Letter Revival. Anyways, I was there for a few days doing that, and then playing drums there. I got to play some oh, dude, you should have, I wish I had been the musicians I had to play with, those few nights in church. You should have been there. You should have been playing, bro. Mm-mm. I was scared that second night. I will not lie. I sat, it was kind of like we didn't have a drummer. And the first night, Reverend Barber's just like, anybody here, can play drums? I raised my hand. I'm like, yeah, man, I'll go get my drums. And I'm walking out, and I slipped on the grass and almost broke my ankle. I'm not lying, man, because I was in such a hurry, and I was in flip-flops, I think, maybe. I don't remember. But it was like, I was wearing flip-flops at Barber's church. I don't know what was up with that. But yeah, I remember I was going to be laying there like, and they could be in there forever, and I'd just be laying there in like mortal agony in the dark. Yeah. But, I came back, but the second night they actually had like this, it was almost like a jazz gospel quartet. There was a killer drummer, and there was a guy with a saxophone, and there was a bass player, and I think maybe keyboardist, I guess, and it's a group of singers, and oh my gosh, and I came in with my djembe. I just had the one, preacher man, the big one, and the dude with the sax, he's kind of the leader of the group, and he's just like, he goes like, I kind of just got invited to play last night, so I just went ahead and brought it inside and bring it up here, so I didn't have to go back out during the service. He says, but I see you guys are playing, and so I'll just set this here and get out of your way, He's like, oh, no, man, you're sitting in. That was it. It was that quick. There was no, like, how do you sound, or what's your name? And I'm just going, oh, crap. And at that first song, we were playing something, and the drummer, he was what I call a tricky drummer, where he's got a lot of interesting little fills and things going. I call him a tricky drummer. And he was that, and he was good. He was really good. And I was sitting behind him, and I'm trying to play, trying to pick up with it, because we've had no rehearsal, none. I like hit my drum head about 5 times, just kind of boop, 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 okay. And then boom, we're in it. And I'm sitting back there kind of going, Gene, you suck, you suck. Oh, man, he wants to hit you in the head right now with a drumstick, man. Just tell you to shut up. You just, you're. And then I hit this, he did this something, something. And I went a little something, something, something. And I was sitting in my head going, okay, oh, man, that might have been messed up. And I looked up, and he was just looking over his shoulder at me, giving me a little wink, like, yeah, all right now. And I just said in the song, I said, how was that? He goes, I think we're going to be all right, And I was like, okay, because these guys were really, and I wish you'd have been there, man. I wish you'd have been there. It was in North Carolina. But anyways, what I was going to say is after that, I went to Camp Lejeune, the Marine Corps base.
Yeah.
I haven't been on a military base long time. Maybe since I got out of the military.
Right.
Well, I went to the Patton Museum at Fort Knox with my dad.
I think a lot of
while you were in.
I think a lot of us vets try and stay away from.
Well,
I made it through 4 days, or 3 days, I think 4 days in Jacksonville, North Carolina. I went to the barber shop on Sunday with my bro. Because every Marine on Sunday gets his hair cut there. It's like 25,000 dudes get their hair cut. I went in, look at this, Army vet, old Army vet, still got his ponytail. That was something. I was a little nervous. But
they probably looked at you, go, come here.
Yeah, there were about like 6
right.
barbers. I think they all had been Marines, or once Marine, always Marine. But
what?
And then there were about 8 or 9 Marines in there. It's like I almost felt like Barnes in Platoon, where like he says like, well, there's just one of me and all of you, But it wasn't like I'm gonna take you on. It was more like, well, hell, there's one of me and there's like 15 of you, and you can block the door, going whatever, man. But it worked out. But anyways, man, this guy was gonna get deployed. He was getting ready to get deployed, and he was supposed to go one place, one another. You know how it all works. I ain't gonna say no more than that. OPSEC people, OPSEC. But OPSEC. Man, we had top secret clearances, OPSEC, bro.
I know that.
That's right, man.
I know that.
People say I can't keep a secret. That's because they don't know the secrets I know.
Right.
Yep.
Remember,
but anyways,
man who tells all he knows nothing.
But he was getting deployed. We were talking about because he knows, I'm actually a pastor and all, and we talked about the humanity, the situation, this and that, and I was blunt with him about something, very blunt. And this is gonna make some people mad at me, but to put it in short terms, what I said was, look, when if you have to line up at Target, I mean, if they were in support of a situation. If you're in a situation. I said, I don't know, you got the different sights now on the M4s, man. You got you're using infrared, all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
We had the pumpkin on the post, right?
Yeah.
The old M16, A1, pumpkin on a post. I said, I don't care. What I want to see is, I want you to see front side focus, pumpkin on a post. Knock that pumpkin off the post, take it out. We'll discuss the other thing, because I don't want you to hesitate.
Yeah.
I don't want you to think in that moment.
There's no hesitation.
It's about your buddy, right?
No, it's not just about your buddy. It's about your person on your left, your person on your right, your person behind you, the person who's laying on the ground who's been shot.
Your team.
It's about everybody in there. If I always had a problem when I was in the military with one thing. Actually, the funny thing is, when I was in basic and through AIT, I got a nickname from everybody in my unit. They called me the Marine because I was always straight on.
But you were Army.
But I was Army.
Right.
It was like one of those things where when I joined the military, I said goodbye to my life. I recognized...
You went in 14 Sierra.
Yep.
What is that?
It's an Avenger crew member.
What is that?
So, since you can look it up on the internet, I don't have to worry about declassifying anything.
We got OPSEC people, OPSEC. But
so,
this is not OPSEC because...
This is legal.
Legal in Oregon.
Smoke it, smoke it, smoke it.
Legal in Oregon.
So...
It's declassified.
Basically, I was riding around in a Humvee with a beehive on the back. And what I mean by a beehive is that it's basically an iconic machine, cylinder on top of it, with 2 missile pods with a 50 cal and an infrared system on the side.
You sound like a warthog on the ground.
Basically, yeah.
You're like a rolling A10 or something. Yeah.
So
back in our day, man.
So the two pods on the side each held.
They still got them, man. They still flying A10s, bro.
So the pods on the side held 4 Argon heat-seeking missiles from air to ground to strike down any kind of...
This is a wheeled vehicle or tracked?
It's a wheeled.
wheel.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a big.
Humvee.
Is it kind of like a big badass Bradley fighting vehicle?
No.
Because that carries
The
troops.
Humvee,
That'd be more like a
man,
black.
I
just like
remember
it's just
when
your
I was in. When I remember when I was in Germany, the Humvees were new.
Right. Yeah.
That law, and I mean that's what some people used to call them. A German friend of mine called it. That thing looks like a freaking warthog.
Yeah.
And that's what.
Did you have
They-
Kevlar helmets when you went to Germany? When you shipped out? I never wore Kevlar in my
No,
time.
they got.
my old unit in Germany
I
got them
went
right
there
after I
with-
shipped to Colorado.
Oh wow.
I went
And then
there.
I ETS. I always
Yeah, I
wore
went
steel
there.
pot.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm old,
I went
old
there.
Army. I'm an old man
Yeah.
now.
You're
Black-
the army that I
hey.
wanted to go into. Instead, I got the Pussyfied Army.
Hey,
Wow.
Hey.
All right.
listen here. It's all about our generation was black boots and salad suits.
Yeah, we had never had.
And
Yeah, we had
this
to
was
shine
the
them
be-
boots,
and
man.
this was the best hat you were never allowed to wear.
It
I
still
went
is.
into
It
boot
still
camp with
is.
Sea Rats. Came out with MREs. What was your active duty date? Your first day active duty. Welcome off the bus.
That was February 7th, 1984.
Okay, I was 1 October 82, and the interesting thing about that is we were on that exact day, because that's the beginning of fiscal year, right? 1 October. We were the first basic training units, because there were other units starting out that day. I was at Fort Dix, Charlie 5-3, and Sergeant Hicks and Sergeant Pitts, both Vietnam vets. Hicks was 82nd Airborne. He was from Philadelphia, and he had been in his weight class the Golden Gloves champion of Philadelphia, or I hesitate to say runner-up. He'd find me and beat my ass now.
Probably would.
But I think he was champ. I think he was champ 2 years running.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, 2 years running, and I found out he was going through some personal shit. I found out later on, his wife was leaving him. And he was with his wife and kids during our cycle, and that dude held his shit tight to train us.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm wondering if there's a few days when he smoked us, he didn't have some other things in mind.
Oh, he probably did.
But he held it. To me, that just blows me away. I found that out later. And Pitts was this big old white Texas good old boy guy. And he was 100. He was airborne. Both. It was funny. They were like good cop, bad cop. And Hicks was like bad cop. He was the devil. And Pitts was the one doing like have you ever heard the Oreo cadence?
Yeah.
You know, or a kid will eat the middle of an Oreo first and save the chocolatey, or what is it? No, it's not chocolate in the inside.
It's
But you know what I'm saying. It's the Oreo cadence. He would do that.
Oreo.
He would be doing that and get us kind of laughing, and then he'd smoke us, or he'd get us all like kind of low key, say we're out doing something, and he'd get us kind of just down just enough, and then Hicks come on and be like, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, trainees? Why are you down? You need to be aware. You need to be focused. Get down, get up, get down." And then it began. Well, yeah, I admired them both, but I forget what the hell I was talking about. Anyways, in a minute, I'm going to show you guys an important skill from the military: how to open a bottle of beer with a lighter. Just saying.
That's kind of funny because when I was doing basic, my basic wasn't very memorable for me. It was boring. It was too easy.
I can. Yeah,
So did you go into one station
I can
unit
speak
after,
to
like
that.
straight in, like infantry does? Like they do
No,
boot
I
camp
went-
there, and then they
so-
go right into their other.
I was at Jackson.
Okay.
And I was too.
Yeah.
Tank Hill.
I was actually.
Alpha 7-2.
I was
New Hollywood.
Tank Hill was retired.
I was New Hollywood.
Tank Hill retired. Does it get benefits? Is Tank Hill on
it does.
TRICARE?
It is. It's on life support actually because it's dying. But no, they built a whole new area for basic training soldiers. But the thing is though is that my basic training was super fucking easy.
And what year was that?
That was 2003.
2003.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's the year we went in. That's Desert Storm 2.
Yeah.
That was 2003, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, because 2004 Iraq freedom happens.
Okay.
So basic training is not really what I was expecting. The reason why I got the nickname Marine was because I was by the book, for the book.
Were you a squad leader ever? Anything
Yeah.
like that? You were?
I was. I got to be a squad leader, and then they wanted to put me as a PG, but they said, nope, we got somebody else we want to fill that role because he's going to officer school after this. Dude was a bitch and got kicked out.
Kicked out later or kicked out like while you were in
In
that
basic.
cycle?
His ass got kicked out in basic.
What do you do?
Chapter. Ooh,
I'll tell
that
you.
hurts like hell. And I had
Yeah.
a cousin that happened too. And basic was easy for me because I had an uncle who was a freaking master gunny.
Okay, well, yeah, that's nice.
And I mean, I used to, you know what summer camp was for me? It was like going down. No, it was like going down to Uncle Johnny's for the summer and blocking his hat and fucking shining his boots and doing all that.
Okay,
So
well, when I tell
he
you,
taught me how to shoot. He was the person who taught me how to shoot. I was qualified with what was the new M16 by the time I was like about 12 years old.
My dad brought me up. He was a marksman. He was on a marksmanship team after the Korean War.
yeah,
And competitive, you know. And I started shooting with little little pea-shooter 22s, like NRA, Eddie Eagle program. Maybe it was that or something like that. We'd go out to the police range way out nowhere, outdoors, and we'd shoot. And I was like, I don't know, like I think it was the summer before I went in 6th grade. So I was like maybe 10, turning 11. But I'd come home. My dad had his big, heavy, I think it was a Winchester, but it was like competition. It was a 22 they shot with, but it was heavy as hell. I mean, as a grown man, it's heavy. And he put me down prone position on the floor.
Yeah,
And said, just hold it. And I couldn't hold it. You couldn't hold that muzzle up. I couldn't do it. I wasn't strong enough. He said, keep working at it, because when you can hold this, stock still steady, when you go back out with that little thing you got,
yeah, you won't have a
he
problem.
said, no, but he wasn't trying to disrespect it. Like, it's still a weapon. It can still, you know. I got taught safety. Like, to this day, if a beer is, if I have even one drop of alcohol, one drop, I won't. I have a friend who has a weapon that he wants me to try out back home, but we always end up having like a beer or two, right, at the house. And then he's like, and it's like, hey, oh, yeah. I'm like, nope.
Sorry, it's all about safety.
Yeah.
Doesn't know.
And he gets good beer, by the way. It's Torpedo IPA, man.
Oh, okay,
so, you know,
yeah.
which you can get at the store. Yeah, so it's like, I'm not gonna turn down a Torpedo just to go shoot, like, say, you know, foreign semi-automatic weapon.
Mm. No, but
even if it would be kind of nice, but I ain't doing it. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, gun safety is everything. Weapon
it's
safety.
the number one thing.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny is that being from here, so there's actually photos of kids in Gresham back in 50, Gresham, Oregon.
Okay.
It's right up the street from us. And this was all across Oregon. Is that we didn't. Okay, so this goes back into the school shootings that happened across the United States for the last few years. Back in 1950s, 1960s, teenager boys would take their guns to school.
Right.
And they wouldn't have any problems with it. Gresham High School actually had a firing range at the school. So they taught gun safety there at school.
Right.
So I think it's really funny how we've gone from teaching it to, well, you see that.
In one of my old high school yearbooks, I was in Vanguard High School, Ocala, Florida, 1977 to 1981. There, now you know all my passwords. There it is. No, anyways, you would never know my passwords. Trust me. You'd have to know me from the inside of my brain, outside of my skull to do it. This guy could maybe guess them, but he couldn't do it.
Good luck with that.
Anyways, but yeah. So they had one of the service clubs. You know, I never got in one of the clubs. I was too geeky, whatever. I don't know, weird. I don't know. I was not the cool kid in high school, but one of the clubs, I forget which one, but it might have been my senior year, junior year, I don't know. But they had a picture, their club picture. They were out like on the athletic field. The bottom level was a bunch of pickup trucks. All the guys who own pickup trucks. So they're standing up, and they got kind of double row. You got all the guys, and then the sweethearts. You know, they'd have a few women that were kind of the sweethearts for the club.
Yeah.
But you know how that works. Anyways, they're all like a bunch of them cowboy hats and whatever, but they're all got weapons, dude. They all had like shotgun. It looked like something like on a tombstone. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they're just like, this was like I say, this would be basically, it must have been like about 1980, 81.
See?
I was class of 81 if I wouldn't have got a GED.
See, I was born a year later.
Yeah, but I remember that, and I saw that in a friend's yearbook. We were looking at it a few years ago, and I was thinking, dang, man, you would not see this picture.
No, you would not.
Not on campus, off campus, like
nowhere.
No. And it was like this. Here we are, and it's just one. Of course, there's one black guy in the club. I think there was one black guy. There was always the one black guy in the service club thing. I'm not saying that wasn't a good thing. That's a bad thing.
No,
but it was like the one. So no, we're not. And I'm not trying to slam on these guys. I know some of these guys. I guess a few of them now, but yeah, the picture itself spoke volumes. It's kind of interesting.
Well, yeah, you won't see that.
But I don't think they were trying with the guns thing. It wasn't like, we're forming a militia to come
they
beat
weren't.
your ass. But
they were teaching them.
it was just what it was. But it's shocking to me now to see the picture.
Well, yeah, because look at how much. So I blame my generation and the generation before me on the way they raise their kid. Don't be afraid to whack your kid because they're misbehaving.
I got paddled in high school.
I got my ass beat.
Did they have that in New Jersey? They just the
Yes, they did. No, they did.
Brick.
No, they did have that in New Jersey. I mean, from kindergarten on.
Yeah.
If your parents gave written permission,
they would beat your ass.
they would.
Oh, I don't know.
Ass. Yes.
Down there in Florida, there was no written that I know of. I don't think there was any written. I think maybe your parents had to write a note for them not to beat your ass. I think is how.
But see, I think as soon as adults we started getting away from spanking and disciplining our kids, because guess what? I'm sorry to say, telling your kid politely no, or don't do that, or please stop, or that doesn't work.
That ain't realistic.
That's not parenting. That's trying to be your goddamn kid's friend at an age where you need to be teaching them to be.
So you're cool with
survival
spanking?
skill.
Is what you're saying?
Not
Survival
always.
skills. That's what you're teaching. That's what
You
you're
want to
really
spank
teaching.
your kid to the point of teaching them survival skills?
Well,
Put them
no.
on Naked and Afraid, man, at like 3 years old. Go
Totally
out,
would.
days.
No,
21 days, kid. Here's a fish hook.
No, I'm not saying that.
And my whole thing is, I wasn't really, I got a son and a grandson, and I wasn't really a father to him at all because of circumstances and shit.
Right.
And this is some real shit.
I can relate.
But my grandson has autism, and he's basically, I don't know what.
What's his name? You want to say,
Well, it's like this. My son and whoever his girlfriend is currently with at the time is basically raising my grandson by himself because
your son.
his mother, because his wife has married somebody from Morocco. And it's like, dude, So, I really don't try to give too much parenting advice because I was basically a non-existent parent.
Yeah,
but I do know
I understand
what.
that. Believe me,
And
we
I
have
do
had
know
similar lives. I hate to say it, but we've had similar
And
lives.
I do know that children need limits, they need boundaries, and the most important thing is they have to learn there are consequences for your actions. Now, back when I was young, lipping off to my mother would get me fucking slapped in the face. And it's like, that's a survival skill, though. Words have consequences.
I remember my dad coming up into my chest one time.
Yeah, actions, but words even have consequences. Right. It's like, think before you speak.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, it's a thing about respecting your parent. Like,
I
see some of these kids who will backtalk to their mother and not get any kind of consequences because mom doesn't have a backbone, or the kids doesn't have enough respect for her because she's
maybe
never.
mom's worn out.
Maybe mom is worn out.
Yeah, maybe.
I have too, but
I don't mean like just the day. I mean like life.
Right, I totally get it. But then then you see these like being a man.
Do it anyway. What the fuck?
It's like I've seen kids disrespect their fathers, and the fathers are like, "Oh, it's all right. It's all right. I'm sorry, but."
No.
You're trying to raise a person here. You need to teach them that there are boundaries, there are things in life that you need to be able to handle, because guess what? I'm sorry to say it, but bullying is actually a part of life. as a human species, as a species as a whole, we are very aggressive towards each other because we have to be territorial and we have to be manly. And even women do it. Like, they're catty, they're friendly, but then they turn their back around and they're bitches to each other, you know? So we as a person, as an individual, have to develop a way to be able to handle our own emotions and have enough respect for the people around us to be able to survive, be able to communicate, be able to express ourselves properly, you know? But with everybody trying to baby their kids or protect them, as they like to say, they're not giving their children a chance to develop their own independent style.
I get what you're saying. I'm like Mike. I can't be like the guy that's like the parenting expert myself.
I'm not a parenting expert. I'm just saying from my own experience.
Yeah, no. I'm not trying. I'm saying, but like, I was basically a shitty dad.
I'm no better. I'm trying to have a good relationship with my own daughter.
I tried to work a situation out, and I'll be honest, I'm not using a crutch, but coming off my bipolar meds at that time, in a critical time in my dad's life, the kind of re-meeting just.
Yeah.
But I'm the dad, so the buck stops here. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly.
Irregardless of how, why, what, where, buck stops here.
Right. Exactly.
You know. So, anyways, we're gonna cut this off. We're gonna do another because I want to talk about Black Lives Matter with you, dude. But you walked off, man. We were blabbing too much. We got to blabbing about what, everything. You know?
Everything. So, gotta touch everything.
Yeah. Mike, you're such a quiet guy now. Have you become a philosopher? Come back here. Sit down, man, please.
I need a smoke, man.
He's gonna have a smoke. We'll come back to this. It's just gonna be me and Mike. Anyways, so that's brunch in Portland, Oregon.
I don't think we talked.
What?
We didn't talk a lot about weed.
We talked a lot about weed. We didn't get to. Yeah.
We talked about everything but a lot about weed.
We talked a lot about weed. We talked like, what,
I don't know.
15 minutes maybe.
No, I think we kept
10.
Maybe.
8.
5.
Longer than the smoke break. We smoked 2 bowls. 3. We're getting ready to have 4. Later, Elvis Burger 2020. I'm out of here.